Now, this is probably one of my first videos where I'm going to talk about buyers. Some of you buyers are a real pain in the ass. You should be a pain in the ass. You should absolutely ask all the questions. You should 100% be texting way too early and calling way too late. Now, as a good buyer's agent, I'm probably not going to respond until I'm ready to. But you as a buyer, be that pain in the ass. I truly, truly mean that. You should be able to ask what you think is the dumbest question on the planet, which it probably is. People say there's no such thing as a dumb question. Ask my wife. I ask a lot of stupid freaking questions all the time, okay? Ask the quote-unquote dumb questions. Bring your parents to the inspection. Just whatever it is that makes you feel comfortable, you should absolutely do that, because if a real estate agent doesn't do their best to make you feel comfortable during a very uncomfortable and scary time, kick them to the curb, tell them to pound sand, find somebody else. In that same vein, okay, mom and dad, if you're listening, just calm down, because I'm talking to your kids right now. I'm talking to your kids. The game has changed, y'all. The market is a different beast. I need to say this as politely as possible. Your old ass friend who's an agent may not know how to play the game at the highest of level. With that being said, I also know some young ass people who can't play the game at the highest level. So I don't know why I'm going on ageism here. This is kind of weird. Just do your diligence and interview several people to be your buyer's agent, because it is incredibly important. So with that being said, if you're a buyer and you just missed out on the house of your dreams, don't worry. Don't worry about the thing. Let's back this up for a second here. Let's talk about the psychology of buying a house. It is psychology. It is an art. It's part science, a lot of emotions, very little logic, very little logic. Now, you may be thinking, I have a list here and I'm checking it twice like Santa Claus, and I have a spreadsheet and this and that. You do have a spreadsheet. You do have a list. You are checking it twice. I'm telling you, after doing this hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, emotion will always beat logic. So as a buyer's agent, as a listing agent, as a realtor in general, realtor, it is our job to help separate that emotion as much as possible and try to use logic as much as possible. So let's go on a little walk here. And let's say you and I were looking at houses. We've looked at 8, 10, 12, 20, 30, 40 houses. 30 or 40 is a lot. You should be able to narrow it down what you like and where you like and what you like in probably 8 to 12 homes realistically. But you've seen a bunch of houses. You found it. You found your dream home. There it is. Oh, like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, the clouds part, and there it is, right? There's your house. All right. Lender, let's sign this. And you get your pre-approval. Your buyer's agent writes up the offer and tells you all the competitive things to do, uses the buying power checklist, and shows you how to make your offer the most competitive. And you do. You throw your hat in the ring. By the way, always throw your hat in the ring. Ask yourself this question. If I don't even try, will I regret not trying in the morning? That's the question you ask yourself when you're writing an offer for a house. Throw your hat in the ring, even if your agent says this, it depends on how they say it. If they say you don't have a chance and then don't follow it up with, but you never know unless you try, they're an asshole. If they say you ain't got a chance, we don't need to even write that offer. That is the wrong move. Write the damn offer. You submit it, you see what happens. So you're working with a good agent and they're giving you all the information and they've shown you all the data and they've answered all your quote unquote stupid questions, and mom and dad have FaceTimed and everybody's excited. You write the offer. It's multiple offers, okay? There's you and 3 other offers, and you went in $40,000 over, and you went no inspection. That's a thing. I'm just saying, it's a thing. You did an appraisal guarantee. I mean, you were using that buyer power checklist. I've teased that a few times now. I'll attach that. I don't know how this works. So, however, we can put a PDF in the comments of the buying power checklist, or a link, or a little boxy thingy up here. I don't know how the hell this works, but I'm going to give you the buying power checklist. It's not mine. I didn't create it. I stole it from somebody else, but I'm just going to take credit for it. You submitted your offer and you don't win. You're devastated. You already knew where you're going to put the couch. You had a spot picked out for your favorite plant. The aquarium was going over there. Your waterbed was going to... Well, it's not the 80s. There's no waterbed. But you're devastated, right? Because it's an emotional roller coaster. You literally go through a grieving process the first time you lose a house. People will get mad at us. As a buyer's agent, I tell buyers, I'm like, listen... When we go into multiple offers, if we don't get the house, just be prepared for a grieving process. And they're like, oh, I'm not attached to the outcome. My faith is stronger than my fear. And all that's cool. I love that, right? I love that. But you're wrong. You're going to go through a grieving process. You're even going to get mad at me because you're going to be like, well, why didn't they give us a counter? Or why didn't they do this? Or why didn't they do that? Ask those questions, get pissed off, realize more than likely it's not the listing agent's fault. It's not your fault. It just wasn't the home for you. In this case, there's a saying that my wife always says, rejection is protection. Every time we get somebody into a house, it's because it was supposed to happen. Call that universal, call that spiritual, call it karma, call it woo-woo hippie shit. I don't care what you call it. It is 100% a fact. And you can't be more than 100%. So people are like 1,000% wrong. It's 100% a fact that every single time we have put somebody in a property that has missed out on another property, it was meant to be. Now you said, well, William, what's this missed opportunity thing you talked about? What do you mean don't worry about it? Don't worry about it. Hey, I don't know why I did that. Let's say I'm sitting with a guy named Mac and he wrote an offer on a property and he missed out on that property and he didn't get it. And I'm like, hey, Mac, it's cool, man. Go through your grieving process. I totally get it. It's like breaking up with a girlfriend that you dated for 3 weeks, that you met in Cabo. Like, it was a really cool thing, but it wasn't meant to be. While you're doing your grieving thing, do you love this neighborhood? Oh, I love this neighborhood. Are you kidding me? There's a McDonald's in the backyard. How is this not the best neighborhood in the world? Cool, get it. Mac likes his fries. Get it. Also Mac, Big Mac. That's a ridiculous whatever here nor there. And then you like the fact that it was a split level. I love that it was the fact that it was a split level. The more stairs, the better. I mean, I just want stairs everywhere I go. Cool, got to keep those calves nice and strong. All right, and the backyard, it was all cement. Was that cool? I love cement backyards. I hate grass, love McDonald's. So the funny thing is about this neighborhood, there's literally a dozen houses just like that one on every single block in this neighborhood. If you think about it, we have the Bloomington Rambler, right? You go up to Brooklyn Park, there's tons of split levels. In Maple Grove, you have a lot of 2 stories. Typically, neighborhoods are like neighborhoods. So, Max, you're saying this is your neighborhood. Yeah, this is absolutely my neighborhood. 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2-car garage, split level, 1,600 square foot. This is it. This is my perfect starter home. Love it. Mac, with your permission, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go ahead and I'm going to call this neighborhood to see if I can find somebody else who's looking to sell a house that you're looking for. How does that sound? Wait, you would do that? Absolutely, I do. I'm your buyer's agent. I gotta find you something to buy, right? Side note, a good buyer's agent never sells you on a property. A good buyer's agent finds a million reasons why you shouldn't buy that property. I am really good at quote unquote crushing dreams. People will walk into a home and be like, I love this house. Well, you're not buying it with me. Foundation's this, there's water, that, the windows are shit, this and that. So a great buyer's agent, yes, understands what you're looking for and understands the flow and the feel and all that stuff. But what I do is I look to crush some dreams by finding reasons for you can't buy a property. So back to it. I love that. So Mac, with your permission, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna call the neighborhood and I'm gonna tell them that I have a buyer actively looking in this neighborhood. Is that cool? Yeah. So I just want to make sure, though, that if I do find something, you would be willing to write on it if it's very similar to the property we just lost out on. Because I don't want to call these people with some BS excuse that I have a buyer for the neighborhood. Well, absolutely. I'm all in, William. But here's where it's behind the curtain. If you're a consumer behind the curtain, do you think I'm going to get a listing or 2 out of this? Probably. Does this work? Do I actually put buyers in properties with this method? Abso-freaking-lutely I do. So I'm going to start calling the neighborhood. And here's the script I'm going to use. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this is William with REMAX. As you know, your neighbor over on 123 Street just sold their property and actually sold in multiple offers. And I didn't represent the seller on that one, but I represented one of the buyers that did not win that property. Hear what I said there? I represent one of the buyers. So I'm insinuating there's multiple buyers out there, which there is. 1, I'm not lying to you as the consumer. 2, I'm letting you know that your neighborhood is in demand. And 3, I'm trying to get my buyer a property here. So I'm using some tactics here. Yes, I'm using sales tactics, and here they are. I represent one of the buyers that did not win that property. And I'm curious, do you know if any of your neighbors are looking to sell anytime soon because they really want to be in here next to that McDonald's? Well, I really haven't. No, I don't think any of my neighbors have. Okay, cool. I appreciate you thinking about that. Well, I got you on the phone. How about yourself? Have you thought about selling anytime soon? Well, no, we really love it here. We've been here for 7 years and we think we're going to be here for a very long time. Awesome. This seems to be a pretty happening neighborhood. What brought you to the neighborhood? Well, we love the fact that it's close to X, Y, and Z. Great. And if you do ever sell, where do you think you're going to move to? Well, we've always wanted to move to Florida. Well, what brings you to Florida? We got some grandkids down there. Well, why is it important to be down there next to them? Well, they're getting older. So I'm using a script right now, okay? It's actually the expired script. What I would love to do is come and take a look at your prop. 5 minutes in and out. And now I'm going to bring some data with. And if you don't think I'm too creepy and you want me to stick around, I literally say this. If you don't think I'm too creepy and you want to go through the data, I would love to share it with you. Otherwise, I'm going to leave it with you. But in and out 5 minutes, and I'll be able to tell you if this is something they're interested in. Have you seen the photos of the other one, 123 Banana Street? No, I haven't yet. What's your email address? I'll send it to you. Yeah, I did just ask them for their email address. Consumer, I'm adding you to my database. That's what I'm doing. You're going to get invited to my ice skating stuff. Like, you're now in my database. Was it kind of tricky? Sure. Am I really good at my job? Frick yeah, I am. You see the photos? No. What's your email? I'll send them over to you. Oh, cool, great, blah, blah, blah. And actually, at that point, I don't add you to my database because I don't want to spam you. But I do have you tagged in my CRM. Do not email. But then I have a missed opportunity for this buyer in this neighborhood. That's a little more in depth for the agent here. So you tag them properly in your CRM, which is a customer relationship management tool. Cool. All right, I'm going to come over tomorrow at 2 or Thursday at 3, which works best for you. I'm going to alternate and close you. I really am. I want the appointment. I want to come see this property. I want to get my boy Mac a house. I want to get you sold. I want to get you your next property. So that in general is what a missed opportunity prospecting call looks like. When I get there, I'll be very honest with them. You know what? This is a property Mac would be interested in. I think this is right up his alley. Can I bring him in to see the property? Of course you can. Great. And I'll schedule that with them. Before I do that, would you be interested in going through this data on what I think your home could list and sell for? Or do you have an agent that you trust that you'd like to call and have them work with you? I'm not stepping on anybody's toes here. What's my job as a buyer's agent? To get a freaking house for my person to buy. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get them. Now, if I can also get the listing, well, why the hell wouldn't I? Now I'm controlling both sides of the transaction. I feel I'm one of the best listing agents on the freaking planet. I'd be doing a disservice by not offering my services to the seller, and I'd be doing a disservice to this buyer by not trying to also represent both sides. People are like, well, isn't that double dipping? Yeah, it is. So I'm really good at what I do. You want me to work for you. I'm unapologetically one of the best. And it's not just me. I have a team, my wife. I'm good. I'm great. My wife is the reason we're still in business, but she's amazing. So if I can get my buyer Mac a property, I can get these sellers out of their property into their next property, and I can literally match make just by calling some people. You see where I'm going with this? There's a lot of things a great buyer's agent can do to get you into your property. There's a lot of great things as a listing agent I can do to bring the buyer to their property. I could probably talk about this for another 45 minutes to 45 years. I love it very, very much, but I do believe this gives you a really good idea of what I'm talking about here. There we go. Thanks for listening. I really, really appreciate y'all. And as always, we out. Deuces.